my topic today is I wanted to speak about generative AI. It was said already, like what Gen AI can do and what actually are the real advantages and disadvantages of the tech and current situation on the market. And I think that it would be interesting to discuss whether it is like what level of the hype we experience these days with generative AI, and just to make it short, even shorter, whether it's a bubble or a real driver. So first of all, let's just recall on what is Gen AI. Like Gen AI is an AI that's is able to generate some content, whether it is images, audio, or code, or different other objects. And the previous models before the foundation models were launched, so the previous models were mainly focused on predictive things and discriminative things. So we have sort of a revolution of how it is actually being described. That is been happening during the past maybe 3-4 years since the adoption of the foundation models and the invention of the models and the famous article. So with the regarding the market and the size, so we have like generative AI software market that is currently quite a large size already, which is like $42 billion. And the growth is expected to be like 32% during the next 3 years till 2026 to reach 98 billion. That is quite a large CAGR, like 32%, compared to a general AI market, which is growing 22%. So we see that the growth rates of Gen AI are higher than the market in general. That is also very interesting fact. So we have like to break down the market. So to break down the size, we have several categories. So first of all, it's more focused right now. The market is more focused on natural language interfaces. That has been historically because first of all, it's the most common application of the generative AI. And actually, I would say that it is also possible. The usage is also more simple, just to understand like how it might be used in these cases. The other applications and the other use cases are, first of all, not so obvious these days, and maybe not so easy to adopt. So also you can see also on the graph the growth of the category of the vertical applications and the AI core, which is foundation models and infrastructure for the development of the category, which is actually the essential part that would be needed to create the top layer. I will speak later about that. So another interesting things to know is to speak about the market drivers, like why do we have this type of boom these days, and what actually is affecting these trends. So first of all, that is the cost of the foundation models training, which has been decreasing so far, and it started like from about $10 million, and now it's $500,000. And also we have like the cost of the generative AI usage, like ChatGPT, which has been charging like $1 for 500 responses, or Midjourney, which is charging like about $50 a month, which is also very acceptable for the wide category, the wide range of users. So another interesting fact I wanted to highlight is the growth of the industrial usage. So we have, we have academia, which is usually the main user and the first early adopter of different technologies. And when it comes to the market, it is very important that the market starts to use more often the technology than the academia. And we see that that is important for the commercialization and other things, and that is important factor because when the industry starts to adopt the technology, it is doing it most of the times not for the sake of the new research activities, but for the commercial activities. And that we can see in the graph on the right, which states that industry outpaces academia these days. And we have a number of significant ML models released during the past year, made predominantly by the industry, which is like 32 compared to only 6. So what also is important, as I mentioned, besides the reduction of cost model of training and also the industrial usage of the models, is the availability for these models to the startups. So we have these costs, which has significantly decreased during the past years, and we have more and more users that are using that. And the interesting fact is the number of the speed the adoption actually takes place. So we have ChatGPT, which has reached 100 million users faster than any other company or product during the past years. So they made it just in 2 months, compared with TikTok, which was on the first place during the few years. So we have this quick adoption, and we have this demand for the increasing productivity, which is also setting the trend and pushing further the usage. So venture capital actually is a very good monitor of what things are really hot, what topics are hot, and what is on the agenda. And venture capital actually is a good sign, like what are the beliefs of the market these days. So we see the deal value and deal count growing during the past few years, especially in 2023, where there was a boom. However, we should make an adjustment to these figures with the investment of the Amazon in Anthropic and the investment of Microsoft in OpenAI, which are very actually significant. And also to get the figure, to get the real figure, we need to get the percentage of the share of the investments in generative AI compared to the total market of VC investments, and the chase also growing, but we also see that there is a VC decline in VC investments in general globally. That is relative to the macro situation, political situation, and certain trends on the market. So the investors these days are very risk averse, and they try to put capital into other areas. What is also interesting to speak about is the allocation of the investments by category, and that's actually can be seen on the right part of the slide. And these figures break down on the categories. One of the most important one is the AI core, like the foundation models and infrastructure, which is about 44%. And then natural language processing type of projects I also talked about on the previous slide. So that is that these categories are dominating, and let's understand why this is happening right now. So also important to understand that, like, the activity of the VC funds in GenAI, and what's investments they are doing here. So we can see like things like Hugging Face and OpenAI, which are working with the infrastructure type of things. So that is actually the statistics and some kind of forecasts that some clever guys from McKinsey made some estimates about, and they actually forecast the growth to be like from 2.6 trillion to 4.4 trillion to be added. That is some incredible figure, which is actually mind-blowing and difficult to accept. But they think that would be the impact on the global industries, and they highlight the industries with the top effects. So things like supply chain and operations, and things like IT, marketing and sales, things like supply chain in healthcare, and some basic materials. So these industries would be significantly affected by generative AI. And that is interesting because we currently, when we speak about the use cases, we currently know some common use cases. And we as a VC fund, for instance, we come across a lot of companies, a lot of startups that approach us all the time. So we know all the information that is on the edge, and that is not highlighted in some resources so far. So we know we are the first guys to know what is going on the market, and we have this snapshot of the industry. And most of the use cases are, as we already discussed on the previous slides, are relative to natural language processing interfaces, language interfaces, and other things. That is, I mean, most of the startups are trying to do this. And the topic I mentioned regarding the layers, so that is important topic to understand in each industry, like what could be the path of the developments, and what are the categories that everybody is thinking about. So we have a very good breakdown here on the layers, starting from the hardware layers, like that is an infrastructure layers coming with the chips, and then moving to the cloud platforms, foundation models, which actually comprise the infrastructure layer and like hardware layer. And then we go to a more service-oriented part, like MLOps tools and application layer, and then services layer, where most of the startups actually operate. And we see like the potential of the newcomers enter in the next 3-5 years. That also is that could be explained also with the fact that, I mean, it's of course it's obvious that the hardware layer and the infrastructure layer are very interesting in terms of investments, and that could be a really significant growth there. But the only problem is that there is a very strong barrier for entry, and of course you can try to make some chips and computing power, but that is difficult because it is very capital intensive, and that requires a lot of scale and a lot of capabilities. So there would be just few players entering this market. The same thing with the platforms and foundation models. So not that much of newcomers will be here, but most of the activity will come into services and applications part, with the new applications being with the more new use cases being offered to the broad range categories of users. And that might seem not very important at first, but that is actually the main driver of the bottom layer, because if you have the infrastructure, if you have the computing power, but you don't have the use cases and you don't have the applications on the service level, that is actually useless, and you cannot utilize that in full scale to return your investments. So here also we have strong companies like NVIDIA with the hardware layer, and others like Anthropic and OpenAI in the platform layer and foundation models layer, and Amazon as well. And that is actually it with it. So with also we can move to the next slide and see the model types and the examples of the categories. So first of all, let's structure this to the few categories that we have. That is text-to-text type of models, and text-to-code types of models, and text-to-image type of models. So with the text-to-text models, we have most of the most common type of usage, and I think there are plenty of companies doing some good things on this in this category, and that is a highly competitive category. So with the text to code, also we have some use cases, but I would say that there is a lot of potential here and a lot of things to be invented in the upcoming years. So as currently there is no so with the text to text, we have some examples of very good working applications. With the text to code, we have just a few use cases, but we don't they still leave much to be desired when it comes to the code development, and you use it as in your daily routine operations. Good thing is and the potential here is that you can use it and fine-tune it for the specific libraries that are generally used by your company or your team. With the text to image, it's more like it is working, but with the use cases, I would say that it still lacks the pace of the text-to-text category, and it is just starting to be commercialized. So we have more creative content here and more creative users here than business users. So we have also categories like text to audio, that is speech synthesis, for instance, and text to 3D and text to video. With the text to audio, we also have some good speech synthesis companies, and I would say that this category is just on the way of becoming really mature, but still it is not perfect, and there is a lot of progress that can be seen here. With the text to 3D, it's just the emerging thing, and we have a lot of upscale here. And with the text to video, just I would say very early stage, and that would be interesting. Also interesting category to make bets on in the upcoming years. So there is a huge potential here. So just that is the some forecasts and some insights on the future development, some ideas on the future developments on this within these categories, like when these when the products inside these categories will actually come into market and would be broadly used. And as you can see here, that is not the state of the fact. That could be in a different way, because it's difficult to forecast. But with the text to video, for instance, it's forecasted like to 2030, and with text to image, for instance, that would be a perfect. With regards to the risks, there was also it was also highlighted in one of the presentations previously here. So the ethical part of the Gen AI, and there are a lot of talks these days. I would not spend too much time on that. So there is, I would say, more about the other risks. So that is energy consumption and environmental health harm. That is obvious. There is a bias risk and the risk of fraud. With the bias risk, that is, of course, the models are trained on the data sets, and that is that could have some kind of biases. And actually, there is a trend that's just fewer people are checking. Like if you would actually play with some of the large models, I did that. So, for instance, so it's like you can think like all of the problems these days could be solved by some clever devices and some generative AI models, but foundation models. But actually, if you give the model some kind of tricky task, even if it is a logical task, maybe, so for instance, like GMAT type of task, so it may be not possible for it to be solved so correctly. Yeah. So with the fraud also, there is a problem that a lot of deep fakes are now being done. So with the voice and with the different scoundrels and thieves are trying to use technologies to make some gains on that. Intellectual property infringements is actually also very big problem if you are, especially with the code. For instance, if you are making a text to code type of generation, so you can first of all have your code which is not secured, and it could be passed to the global audience, and also the other things like data leakage. So let's get back to the topic or to the question whether the generative AI is the hype and whether it is worth that hype. So we usually compare. So we see, like, on the hype side, there is there are some clever guys from Gartner who introduced like maybe 5 years ago this graph on this cycle of the technologies which are emerging. It is not a general rule. I would say it's not like the thing that you can use as a metrics or as a scheme in your daytime in your routine assessments, but some ideas it actually brings to your attention, and sometimes it is making it not very correct, not very precise, but actually it's a good idea to make it like this. And usually how I see it, the cycles are going in this direction most of the times. So we have the difficult part is to put your technology on in the right place in this graph. What they say is that there is after the involvement of the merging of the technology, after its very high boost and in growth, there is always a drop in consumer interest, and there is a point of tough of disillusionment, which actually is inequality between the expectations and the results. So that is a usual thing, especially these days when we have very high speed of gaining momentum and gaining the number of users. So we compared it. I compared it to blockchain as one of the examples of the technology where there was a lot of hype about the technology, and those days everybody which actually which we encountered in terms of investments in these startups, every startup that came to us told us that they have something in blockchain. So something, even if blockchain was absolutely not required in their business, but in their business operations, but still. The same thing now I see is happening with the generative AI. So 90% of companies that come to us, they say like we are doing something in AI, but we are now started something in generative AI as a new product, or we are using it in normal business. So for instance, doing this presentation, I also could have used generative AI to do these ideas, to ask it. I of course did that, but I did that after I prepared this presentation, so no worries. I will tell you later about it. So with the blockchain, we have this first of all this hype, and then there is a decrease, and that is actually what is going to happen with the generative AI. That's for sure. So we have also, we can see other technologies and the hype cycle for this lifetime, and that happened with the blockchain, with the autonomous vehicles, same thing, which actually were things like there were highlights in media by big guys from taxis and from car manufacturers that's actually said that they will be using autonomous vehicles in next couple of years, but that was a long time ago. So now we see that it's not a common standard. We have same thing with the IoT, with the blockchain, with the different types elements of metaverse and digital twins and NFTs and DeFi and everything. So so that is the standard thing for the technologies. So with the VC investment, so what I already highlighted is that we have this we put here the graph on blockchain, and we put here the graph on generative AI. We see that there would be even more higher disrupt between the top rates, the top highs, and the top points and the low points. So the drop would be even more significant than in other categories, because there is even the hype is even larger than compared with other technologies. So, however, I would say that that is, of course, there is a hype about the technology, but compared to other technologies, it can be seen that Gen AI is more widely used, and it is sort of like the search engines in the end of 90s and beginning of 2000s. So that there was more disruption because more users can use it. So the broader the category, the broader the applications, the number of applications of this category, the more stable this technology is, and the more disruption it makes with the other categories and with the other industries. So just to finalize, so what we do and what we actually what information we have. So we are acting as a VC fund in the consulting company, and we are building, the first thing is we are building the expertise in AI, that is in all categories of AI and in different industry segments. We have a very strong expert board. We gather it from R&D functions of R&D company, from R&D functions of top tech companies. So we're building this board that is, we have currently more than 200 experts in machine learning and data scientists. And these experts actually have different experience in different industries that they can apply to first of all, to monitoring the projects that we invest in. And also when the project is already in the portfolio of ours, when it's in the batch, we help these products, help this company to develop its product and make it more polished and more lean. So we, as a VC fund, so we try to be a really smart money. So I mean, most of the people claim they have smart money, but just fewer people are actually doing smart money. So we help the companies in terms of technology, and we help the companies to build their businesses and operations and sales. So we operate in various geographies. We have we are building our network and expertise across MENA region, Asia, LATAM, and Europe. We are hosting also a number of events on machine learning and computer vision. The last one was Machines Can See, and actually we will be hosting it also in Dubai, again in Dubai in 2024. That is a very scientific type of that was a scientific type of conference, but currently we made it more diversified in terms of business. So we added also a business stream and entrepreneurship stream. So we built also different type of, we have also the accelerator, and we built that accelerators for the corporates from scratch. So we make a turnkey solutions where we help the corporate to identify its needs and scout the companies in technologies. We also do trend watching and to help them to formulate their strategy. And when after the scouting, we actually make the pilots in inside the corporate. So we make a soft landing of the company inside the corporate. So I think that is it. So thank you very much, and would be happy if you can also add me in LinkedIn, or just if you have some questions or projects, you can
like many companies that I'm consulting, they just want to get into generative AI bandwidth, right?
Yeah.
And when I check their data strategy in place, they don't have a proper data governance, data structure, data reporting system in place. So, and the advice that I see from my experience is, I tell them, go back and build your data strategy. At least have, because you cannot just use generative AI if you don't have a proper pipeline in place for your beneficial, because generative AI just is not an open AI API call. It is much more than integrating it to the complete data strategy and the digital transformation strategy of a company. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely agree with you. So the data is very important. And actually, when we select the industries in our investment strategy, for instance, when we invest the industries where we go sub-segments inside the industries, we highlight the not only the market, but also the possibility of creating the models there, and that involves the data and actually the possibility of the model itself, of the algorithm, but also the data, which is very important. So we look at the companies to make the digital transformation, the companies that have enough data to do that. And that data might be need to be structured. That data needs to be also the data sets needs to be clean and I mean worked on. So with regards to the generative AI strategy, and like of course, like you can use like API to the ChatGPT, for instance, but I mean you need in order to do something interesting, you need to fine tune the models, for instance, and that fine tuning involves a lot of usage of the data of your own, because otherwise it will be just another general type of thing. So you need to be having like the product that actually specifically answers your category of problems.